deeply invested in female power, in feminine power, in woman, in the power of womanhood. And I see how tending to the mother is tending to the future. It's all of these hopes and dreams we have for future generations. It's the moms that make that happen.
Yeah.
It's healthy mothers that create healthy realities.
Hey friends, welcome back to another video of Beyond Ecology. This time, another team member that I want to introduce to you. Her name is Kai Njeri. I'm so excited for this video. I'm so excited to hear more about Kai and the beautiful work that she's doing, and I can't wait to share her with you. So welcome, Kai. Kai Njeri is a regenerative systems thinker, designer, and community weaver. And her work is rooted in deep nature connection. And she works at the intersection of womb ecology, land-based healing, and she loves to support people in remembering that they are nature, whether through food and seed sovereignty, sexual and reproductive health, or forest-inspired design. And she's also a birth worker. And just before we started recording this video, we already started talking about it. And we were like, oh no, we should start recording because you were saying so many beautiful things. I just wanted to start recording and to listen to it. And you told me like womb ecology is something that we really should mention a couple of times, right? And that is something you want to be in service of. And I can read the notes that I wrote down when you were talking, but maybe you just want to share why womb ecology and the birth work, etc. Tell me about it.
The way I see it, and especially from a design perspective, I think it's no coincidence that the womb is not a square or a triangle and the earth is not a square or a triangle. I think what life has done in creating those many concentric circles and membranes of life is created smaller versions of it. So sort of like the Russian doll. And so you have the womb within another womb, within another womb, within another womb, and then we finally have the large womb, which is the earth. And so I see how the way we treat the womb, the way we treat those that hold wombs, is exactly the same way we treat our planet. Is exactly the way we're showing up in our communities. Is exactly the same way we're showing up with our food systems, our money systems, our social systems, our education systems, our health systems. And so I've worked in several different fields and have skills in several different fields. And what I keep coming back to is that if we were to put womb ecology at the forefront of our research, of our education, our systems, it would just about take care of everything. And so I work in that from menstrual health, and gender work right up to birth work. And preconception, pregnancy, birth, and the postpartum period. And I have a background in many different things, but I feel called the most right now to look at life and look at our possibilities towards thrive from the perspective of the womb and its health.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I cannot stop listening to you when you talk about this. That's so beautiful. And you also told me what I want to be in service of is thriving womb ecologies. And that looks like mama's health, right? All aspects of the health of the mother, the mental, emotional, physical. Yeah. Can you tell me more about that also?
Yes. I mean, we're living in a world right now where the woman's body is a battlefield. From the moment they come into this world, we're showed our limitations, or what is perceived to be our limitations before we're showed our strength, before we're shown our capacities, before. And so you have to go through life and learning. If you're lucky enough to arrive at a point where you know to unlearn, we have to go through life and learning the stuff that we pick up. Um, I mean, I think about how much marketing depends on the woman's body. I mean, think about most companies, most of these, big companies. Most of the advertising is dependent on the woman's body, on sexualizing, objectifying it. And so if that's what we're constantly seeing, then that's what little girls grow up believing to be the power of femininity. And that's just one, that's when we take one aspect and fetishize it, it is a power. Yes, it is a power of femininity. Our sexuality, our sensuality, it is very powerful. But what what capitalism has done is take it and fetishize it, objectify it, and then use it as something to sell products, and use it as something to show us that we are not enough until we arrive at a certain a certain embodiment. And coming from the part of the world that I come from, that has been especially detrimental because a lot of these standards are European standards, and you come to my part of the world and people look different. Femininity has so many different expressions, which I believe to be the case everywhere in the world. Um, but we're constantly being shown what is perceived to be our limitations, and another example is I've been doing a lot of research and just recently starting to add it to our menstrual health education program, cycle syncing. You hear about the way women are just like, there's a word for it and I forget, but we go crazy around around the menstruation period. And at that time, our power lies so much in our ability, our emotional state rises to the surface. It gives us an opportunity to sift through some of that stuff that is harder to reach during the other times of the cycle. If something's coming to the surface in those 3 to 5, 7 days of menstruation, you need to pay good attention to it because your system is telling you it's been trying to work on this the entire cycle, the entire
Mm.
past cycle, and it didn't succeed. So now it's
Mm.
come up to the surface for you to get a chance to look at it. But
Yeah.
but what the story is we become lunatics when we're menstruating, and then we become wild animals when you're ovulating. And that's because female sexuality is only okay when it is required and needed and demanded, but not when we have it for our own sake, because it is part of our biology. And so the entire cycle is built for regeneration, so that there are
Mm.
times when we peak in certain aspects and other aspects of us get to rest, get to regenerate. But if we're going through through life working with a 24-hour cycle, the more masculine cycle, then it makes sense why there's so many tired women walking around trying to be
Yeah.
mothers, be wives, and be daughters, and be community weavers, and be human beings, and they're done. They have nothing more to give, but they can't stop because they have to keep giving, and
Yeah.
so I'm I'm deeply invested in female power, in feminine power, in woman, in the power of womanhood. Um and I see how tending to the mother is tending to the future. It's all
Mm.
of these hopes and dreams we have for future generations. It's the moms that make that happen,
Yeah.
It's healthy mothers that create healthy realities. So
Yeah.
why aren't we tending to our mothers more?
Yeah. That's beautiful, because what you're saying actually is that the health of the world and the health of our systems and the health of our communities depends on the health of the mother, right? The individual mother, but also the collective mother in some way. And we have
Yes.
been forgetting, suppressing, conditioning that true feminine essence and power away because of systems,
Mhm.
capitalism, patriarchy, whatever. I guess we can talk 5 hours about the reasons why, but the fact
Yeah.
that our systems did it, that we unmothered ourselves in a way, I always
Yes.
say, and
Yeah.
we're not understanding the true essence of who we are as a woman and who we can be as a mother and the matriarch or the leader in our families, in our communities, and in the world. And what you're actually
Mhm.
saying is that all of that is so important, and you translate that into birth work and regenerative systems thinking, right? And that is the
Yeah.
womb ecology you're also talking about in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to think of, what I'd started to say about membranes is we come into this life and the first membrane provided for us when we're still goo, is the womb. That's
Mm,
as we're developing our own. I mean, we have our own like cellular membranes and so on and so forth. Or um as organisms at whatever level, we have membranes, and that is built within the mother's womb. That's our next membrane. And then we have the mother's body. That's the next membrane. And then we have family, and that's the next membrane, and so on and so forth. And all of that, it ripples out and in, the way we are with ourselves, with how with our own embodiment first, our sense of belonging in our bodies. And that can be tracked. Research is now showing that that can be tracked
mm,
from pregnancy, from the state of the child can be tracked from the state of the mother during pregnancy. the,
wow.
the correlation there is quite strong, and not 100% causal, but there is a causal effect there.
Mm,
Stress levels um, during birth. I've seen what a stressed out birthing person, the effects that has on birth, the effect that has on the baby that's being born. And so I from the work that I do, I unfortunately witness a good amount of obstetric violence, and I've come to see how stark the differences are, because I take on doula clients for home births primarily. But then through the work that I do with Wombs of the World, I'm also spending a lot of time in like hospital delivery rooms, and I'm able to see the stark difference between the two. And
mm,
this is not even a home is better than hospital. I think there are some births that need to be in hospitals. Mine needed to be because it was an emergency C-section. Um, and gratefully, there were hospitals to meet me in that need, because I don't know
mm,
that my son would be alive right now. So it's not a this versus that. If there's
mm,
anything to compare and contrast, is what happens when there's care and when there's no care. This could be at home, this could be in hospitals, but then hospitals are built from a medical perspective.
mm,
Birth is a physiological event. And so when we take this physiological event and we make it a medical emergency, then just there's so much stress that's involved with that kind of birth.
yeah.
And the intelligent design of our bodies makes it so that stress and birth do not work well together.
Mhm, mhm, yeah,
I mean, and even at a hormonal level, the cortisol levels go up, oxytocin levels go down. You're not having any contractions anymore. Birth is
yeah.
stalled. And I see the same behavior with the way we're treating our rivers, the way we're treating our soil. I've also done a lot of work in food and seed systems, and the same behavior I see in hospitals. It's the same stuff I'm seeing with our food. It's the same things I'm seeing with the way we are behaving with our water systems. It's the same kind of violence that we are exerting upon each other, in the name of tribalism, in the name of racism, in the name of all the isms. It's the
Yes.
same, it's the same thing. So where I've chosen to begin, with moving towards healing, health, and thrive is the womb, the mother, the child.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That really touches me. Yeah. It's like really at the start, at the beginning. And I think it touches me because it touches upon the subject of which we talked a little bit about, the feminism, or the, I don't know, that I think that's maybe we also why we find each other, but the collective grieving of losing the mother and the collective mother wound because of the systems, and how we are not being able as women to give our children what they need to create more healthy, trauma less societies. So, and I think that really touches me because it's the collective grieving and collective healing of the mother and of all those wounds that starts
Yeah.
with the womb and the ecology of the womb. And if we start to integrate that into our existing world and systems, if the
Mm-hmm.
hospital starts to understand that it has to incorporate the feminine, the physiology, the nature, we can
Yeah.
work together somewhere, we
Yeah.
can really create change.
And this is the
Yeah.
connective tissue that's binding us. We want to imagine together in the name of progress and development. And I see that a huge part of what that has done is it's bled dry the feminine and rigidified the masculine.
Mm,
And so
mhm,
when you have one that's bled dry and just doing its best to find ways, and thank heavens for our cycles, because we have inbuilt systems of regeneration,
mm,
that allow themselves to play out, to shift with our shifting environments.
mm,
Because I think that's a big part of how we've been able to stay, to not shoot too far. I mean, at least at the middle, when we look at the median, we've not shot too far from health, not too far. We've gone some ways. But I see how just the rigidifying of the masculine and the bleeding dry of the feminine, those two, just there's a lot of resentment, there's a lot of pain, there's a
yeah,
lot of distrust, there's a lot of, but I think the first step is, do we even trust ourselves? Me and my personhood, me and my the being of me, the embodiment of me. Can I even trust this? Do I have the kind of relationship that I can lean into as I travel through the world? Am I nourishing myself in the ways that my system, my body, my mind, my heart needs?
mm,
Because then I can meet the next person from that place, and we can continue to touch each other that way.
yeah,
Um, but what we have right now in the world is a lot of tired, fatigued women,
mm,
and a lot of men who've been taught that the lack of bend, the lack of the ability to bend and twist, and that like rigid stance
mm,
is what masculinity is. And women are
yeah,
being told that bleeding dry, giving of yourself until there's nothing to give, that's what femininity is, that's what womanhood is.
mm.
And these two are trying to meet each other, um, and they can't.
No, no, they can because there's so much pain, grief, projection, anger, resentment in the way.
But it's exactly that thing of, we've ripped the masculine so far from the feminine and the feminine so far from the masculine.
Yeah,
You wouldn't think they exist within each one of us together, you
mm,
know? So yeah, that's some of the stuff that I want to support women and mothers through. It's how
yeah,
we embody the stories that we've been told. Um, I've I've had to heal from a lot in terms of embodiment. What I
Mhm.
grew up being told was beautiful wasn't how I looked. And the only time I was told I was beautiful was when I was being sexualized. And
Mm.
so it's taken a lot of healing there to arrive at what is my sense of belonging in my body. And then get invited. Here he is.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then get invited into motherhood and explore what that then means for my child. He was born premature, um,
Mm.
7 weeks premature, and the journey for him into embodying was quite a traumatic one at the point of birth, you know. So there's a lot for me there. There's a lot that I'm passionate about. There's a lot that
Mhm.
breaks my heart, and there's a lot of opportunity for healing and health and thrive that I see and that I want to
Yeah.
contribute to.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I didn't even have to ask. You're helping people with this, right? You just introduced it yourself so beautiful. I love that. I just love listening to you also when you talk about this because it feels so. We just also talked about it before, and you told me, yeah, it feels like an easy place of power for me, and that's really what I see. It's so embodied. It's so grounded, and it's such a beautiful matriarchal mother energy that. Um, we need, and it's not
Mhm.
and we don't say we're perfect, but we say like, hey, we're really doing our best to heal, to
Yeah,
embody this new idea, this new earth, these new
yeah,
systems, and we do that
yeah.
through embodiment and being the change we wish to see. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Truly.
yeah, so if yeah, just to add to it, if you want to work with Kai on these topics, right? You are doing this, you are offering this a one-on-one online. But of course, if you're close to where you are in Tanzania, for example, I can imagine you want to invite the people too
Yes.
to come to you. Um,
Yeah.
and I will put all the links to Kai and more information about you and the work that you're doing also in the caption below.
Yeah.
With that being said, is there something, because I feel I can talk for hours with you, so let's do this also again on all kinds of topics. But is there something
Yeah.
you still want to add today, or something you feel sharing?
Yeah. Well, just to say, because I don't think we said this at any point, we just dove in, which I
Yeah.
tend to do. But just to give a sense of, so like Marta said, I'm a birth worker, I'm a doula. And I do that physically in my environment. But I also do a lot of like maternal health projects with Wombs of the World. So I'm involved in birth work at so many different levels, from like hands-on hip squeezes, and at times when midwives don't make it to a birth, I catch the baby.
Mm-hmm.
um and all the way um to helping figure out what a community needs in terms of maternal health, and then also that like the subtler work of sitting with a mother as she's having mother wound stuff come up during pregnancy, having insecurities come up around her body, having even deeper stuff, abuse, issues come up. And that's the potency of this period in our lives. It brings to the surface a lot of things, and there's a lot of power available then to start healing that stuff. So yeah, we just need to touch ourselves and be touched with more care and more nurture and more tending. And it's a blessing anytime I have the opportunity to do that. So
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
yeah.
Thank you for adding that. We definitely dove right in, but thank you for for pointing that out and adding that, because that's the essence of it. And yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
just can't wait to hear more from you. From now on, you also will be sharing content with us one time per month, like videos,
Yeah.
blogs. But you're also, we didn't even talk about that, but you also say you're working with sound and voice and like audios that help with birthing, etc. Um,
Yes.
but we will share when all of that is ready.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for watching if you made it this far. As I said, I will put all the links to you and where people can find you below in the caption and in the comments. And yeah, know that if you need Kai, you can just click on those links and find her and send her a message, and she will be happy
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Kai. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
As always, I know we could keep going for a while, so
yes.
yeah. We can say goodbye to everyone and then keep going.
Yes, we do. Okay, good idea. Thank you for watching, and everybody, and see you in the next